Hey, what's up guys? Kool-Aid here. Welcome to another weekly patch notes and news video. We do have a very large patch today, so we're going to jump right in and get started. First thing we have is the death screen revamp. Many of you have probably heard about this by now. Many of you have probably been dreading this. I'll read you guys this a little bit and then I'll show you a little bit of what it looks like at the end. The death screen has been redone to provide more information. The following can now be seen. A minimap displaying the killer's relative position to yours. The killer's position will only be revealed if the killer was previously spotted. In the case where the killer was not spotted, only the general direction of the killer will be shown. And I'll show you guys what this looks like with a still shot. I honestly don't think it's as big a deal as some people are making it out to be. At the same time, I don't think it was needed in the game. I don't really feel why they needed to put it in the game, but it's there. It seems like it might affect snipers the most and possibly stalker cloak users, but we'll just have to see. I logged in honestly for like 2 minutes just to die a couple times, and I couldn't get a real great impression of what it's going to look like, but or how it's actually going to affect gameplay. But it's there. We're going to have to adjust. Also, the killer's and assister's weapon attachments will be shown. The killer's and assister's last completed medal for the weapon they killed you with, your current progress toward your next medal and ribbon for your primary and secondary weapon, up to 3 upcoming medals, various session stats, a graph and XP event that feed that summarizes your last life, which as a reminder has been terminated. In this case, or in the case where you did not register any significant XP events, a helpful tip will be shown instead of a graph. The death screen can now stay up indefinitely. You can press any key to continue the deployment screen after a couple seconds. So again, something we're going to have to adjust to whether you like it or not. It's there. Now for the big Liberator updates, and this is stuff that I planned on talking about in my news section because it just hit PTS this week and it went live incredibly fast. And basically what that means is that a lot of this stuff will probably be changed in the next couple of weeks, similar how the ESF update happened. You got the update, then within a couple of weeks they made multiple changes, even to the same weapon. So anyways, for the Liberator update, we have a new Liberator nose gun, the L24R Spur. The L24R Spur is equipped with a specialized optics that allow the pilot to adjust the weapon aim rather than be fixed forward. So it's more like a turret as opposed to a fixed weapon. And I have seen these guns in action via STL Youngblood's video, which I will link if you guys want to check out these weapons a little more in depth. He shows them off a little bit. And this gun was actually pretty cool looking. The fact that you can swivel it around, so if you're sitting stationary, letting your bomber or letting your gunner bomb the crap out of a base, you can still move your turret around and get some extra kills. So I like the idea of this weapon. They've also added a new tail gun, which is the Hyena missile launcher. Hyena missiles are compact, short-range missiles that are dumbfired, but will lock onto enemy aircraft if they get close enough and inflict light damage. And from the video I watched from STL, it looks like it does very little damage, but they're probably a little bit better for players that have hard time aiming with the standard anti-air tail gun. So that option is there. I actually think they look kind of fun to use, but as STL pointed out in the video, they're a lot of show with not much results. And then the new belly gun is the D75 Duster, and it says the D75 Duster is equipped with dual 75mm cannons that fire high explosive shells. While able to quickly unload its magazine of 10 shells, each shot decreases targeting accuracy unless given time to recover. This allows the D75 to feather accurate shots or unload the magazine and bombard a wider area. From the footage I saw of this actually looks like kind of like a carpet bomb if you're just to hold down the trigger. The accuracy is all over the place, and I can't see this being incredibly useful except for when there is just a massive zerg of infantry you can unload on this. It is going to do less damage than the Zephyr. I don't know the particulars at this time. I thought it looked kind of fun. The reactions that I've read so far is that it's not incredibly useful. I think it's going to be very situational. Like I said, it looks to me almost like kind of a carpet bomb that you can keep reloading and firing. So have to talk more about the. You guys know I'm not really a pilot, so I'm probably not going to do real in-depth reviews on this stuff. Again, I'll refer you to STL Youngblood's channel for that. They've also made a lot of other changes to the Liberator as well. They've made some tailgun improvements. The Liberator tailgun has been adjusted to give it an increased firing angle. It can now rotate 180 degrees, but is forced to aim down when facing towards the front of the Liberator. This gives it some additional coverage to the bottom and sides of the Liberator. So I think they put that in there because tail gunning is usually so incredibly boring in a Liberator. I know the main reason for it is to keep enemy fighters or whatever off your tail, but this is also going to give you a little something extra to do when there's not an enemy fighter on your tail. I like that change personally. The Liberator Composite armor now increases resistance to heat rounds, AP rounds, and light anti-vehicle rounds, such as the Zephyr and Bulldog. We are also upping the lower ranks against flak. So, flak resistance changed, and there's some values here. I'm actually not going to read these. You guys can check out the notes. I'll leave the link in the description. But they have made some changes to the composite armor of the Liberator. Whether or not that was needed, I don't know. I don't fly enough. Again, referring you to STL's channel. The Dalton has been changed a little bit. The inner blast damage decreased from 1,000 to 700 in cases where this causes an increase in direct hits required to kill a target. The resistance to this damage was adjusted so that it remains the same, except for Liberators. Liberators will now be set on fire after 2 direct Dalton hits instead of destroyed. So it's going to be a little less powerful. I think everybody was pretty much using the Dalton lately, so they felt the need to nerf it. Anyways, moving on. The Vector has been changed a little bit as well. The fall-off damage of the Vector is being adjusted so it's not as steep, and its reload certification is being improved. Minimum damage increased from 150 to 225. Reload speed certification is now 2 seconds off of reload per rank, up from 0.12 seconds. So the Vector is getting improved as well. The A30 and G30 Walker, we are increasing the damage done with 125 or within 125 meters and upping the minimum damage slightly. Between 125 and 400 meters, the weapon will be near identical to the previous version. Maximum damage increased from 115 to 130. Maximum damage range increased from 175 to decreased from 175 to 50 meters. Minimum damage increased from 75 to 85, and minimum fall off range decreased from 500 to 400 meters. The G40F Ranger weapon is underperforming. You could say that again. This is probably one of my least favorite weapons in the game. It is receiving the following adjustments. Magazine size increased from 32 rounds to 70. Flak damage increased from 38 to 45 damage. And yeah, that's it. It says flak from your squad for not killing the aircraft has also been reduced by 20%. Radar X does some good jobs. I haven't been reading them all, but he does a good job of throwing some humor in these patch notes, spice things up a little bit. The Liberator belly gun has been adjusted as well. The dead zone when pointing the weapon straight down has been reduced by 5 degrees. Miscellaneous balance adjustments. Liberator Racer airframe increased cruising speed. Previously it was 7 kilometers per hour per rank, or a total of 20 kilometers per hour at max rank. It has been increased to 11 kilometers per hour rank and a total of 35 kilometers per hour at max rank. Liberator Stealth and Galaxy Stealth. The lock-on time increases for Liberator and Galaxy Stealth certifications has been increased from 0.25 seconds per rank to 0.375 seconds per rank. And then the last Liberator, actually not the last Liberator change, but the last direct Liberator change is the Afterburner. The initial fuel cost reduced to 25% of the tank's capacity, down from 33%. They reduced the amount of fuel consumed per second. Previously, a full burn was around 1.5 seconds. Now a full burn is around 3 seconds. And now the last change for Liberators, or this is vehicles overall. This is shared vehicle experience. Experience for kills are now shared amongst the entire crew of a vehicle. This includes all gunners and passengers, but passengers receive a smaller amount. Experience for assists are now shared amongst the crew of a vehicle, excluding passengers. This amount is usually less than the amount awarded for the actual assist. So that's cool. I think you've been in a tank or a Liberator or whatever, and you don't know if your pilots actually killed something because you don't get the experience pop up. Now you will. I like this change a lot. Optics can now be purchased with station cash for infantry weapons. Whatever. They're really cheap anyway, but I guess if you want to, you can purchase them now with station cash. There's been some other balance changes as well. The light anti-tank resistance has been adjusted on several vehicles. Light anti-tank includes the Zephyr, the M40 Fury, the M60 Bulldog, and the underbarrel grenade launchers. Liberator resistance to light anti-tank increased from 0 to 35%. Galaxy resistance to light anti-tank increased from 25 to 50%. Lightning resistance to light anti-tank decreased from 40 to 30%. And it says this change reduces some extra damage these weapons were able to do against Liberators and Galaxies. While on the other side, the Lightning was too resilient against this type of damage, able to withstand as much punishment as an MBT could. Liberators are receiving a few baseline resistance increases against heavy hitting damage types. Liberator base resistance to armor piercing rounds increased from negative 20% to 10%. Liberator base resistance to heat round damage increased from negative 33% to 10%. Liberator resistance to non-lock-on rocket launchers, such as the Decimator and the default launchers, increased from negative 87.5% to negative 70%. And it says the above changes caused 2 Dalton rounds to now put a Liberator in a burning state rather than outright destroy it. Armor-piercing tank shells will do less damage per hit, but will still kill in the same amount of hits, except for the Lightning AP, which will take one more hit now. Heat rounds require one more shot than their AP counterparts, except for the Lightning Heat, which will make it critical instead, or put it in a critical state. Decimators will no longer 2-shot Liberators. Instead, 2 shots will place it in critical damage. Maintained lock weapons, air-to-air missiles, and Striker can now maintain an already established lock against aircraft 300 meters beyond the maximum acquire range, which is 400 meters. Reduced head collision size to lower the amount of unearned headshots. Seriously, guys, taking off someone's ear isn't really a headshot. I actually can see that because I've been getting some pretty forgiving headshot kills while sniping and stuff like that. So that's been reduced a little bit. The motion sensor now can be resupplied from NG ammo packs and now auto swaps to a weapon after deployment. That's cool. That was the not swapping was kind of bugging me, and not being able to resupply from NG ammo packs. I didn't know if that was intended or not, but now you can. They fixed the Phantom VA-23 having the incorrect iron sight transition time. It is now the same faster speed as the other 2 Empires. And just a few more miscellaneous things. The class quiz can now be completed on each of your characters, so more free stuff for everybody if you play multiple factions. Coyote missiles have been updated with a new reticle. Camo can now be applied to heal and repair tools. That's kind of cool. Laid some groundwork for future flash tuning improvements. These changes should be imperceivable in this update. Imperceivable, whatever that means. Temporarily using an external web browser for CS support and some purchase flows. There's also a list of further bug fixes you guys can check out for yourself. I'm not going to read them off. This video is already getting pretty lengthy. As far as Planetside 2 news, everything that I had went live and I just read off. I was planning on talking about the Liberator stuff, the death screen, etc. But since it went from PTS to live so incredibly fast, that pretty much ruined my whole news plans for today. I do have some channel stuff. I do want to tell you what's going on in this clip a little bit first. Typically, when it comes down to spawn camping, I don't like to do it. I get rather bored, and I usually just end up leaving the base, going somewhere else, and then meeting back up with my outfit or platoon later on. But in this case, I thought it would be fun to sit outside their spawn room and not really move, and just see how long it would take for them to kill my Vanguard. And as you're going to see, it does take a pretty substantial amount of time, and I thought that was kind of funny. But anyways, back to channel-related news. STL Youngblood is actually sending me a new keyboard, or or it's new for me. It's his old keyboard. I think it's a Razer Black Widow. No matter what your opinion on the Razer keyboards are, it doesn't matter. It's going to be way better than what I am currently using, which is a $10 Logitech from Walmart, which is just god awful for gaming. It screws me up a lot of the time because you can only press two or three keys at once, and a lot of times that will actually prevent me from cloaking. I'll be holding shift and maybe forward and to the left strafing. I'll try to cloak and I won't actually cloak. So the new keyboard is going to be awesome. He's also sending me a new headset. Whether or not that will improve my audio quality, I don't know, but either way, my current headset is falling apart, so that's awesome. And he's sending that to me basically for free. All I did was give him some money for shipping. He asked for like $10. I sent him 20, which is, either way, it's an awesome deal, and I want to thank him for that. But that will help my gaming out just a little bit, I guess. Some other channel related stuff. I have been playing Titanfall a little bit. I don't know how I feel about the game. Honestly, I don't know if I'll be doing many videos for it. I might just do some gameplay. I don't think I'm really going to do any in-depth videos at this point or anything like that. I'm not going to try to get a big Titanfall subscriber base or anything like that. At least that's not in my plans for the near future. Just my first initial impressions of the game. I think it's fun, but I don't know if it's something that I can really get into for the long haul. Now, as far as my videos go, what's going to be coming out soon, I am working on the Vandal review. Probably as soon as I upload this video, I'm going to get started on that. Hopefully have that out for you, maybe later tonight, but at least by tomorrow. The crossbow and stalker review I will have up next week. I've said that before, but I promise you guys, now that I'm done with the Empire-specific sniper rifle reviews and that I'll have the Vandal review out of the way, I'll get to that. And the only reason I felt okay about pushing the review of the stalker and the crossbow off is because there's already some good reviews out there about those two. So I'm going to push that till next week. One thing I do want to ask you guys' opinion about is once I go back to work, which is going to be in 2 weeks from Monday, my videos will stop, coming quite as often. I will only be able to do maybe 2 or 3 videos per week, 2 or 3 lengthy videos. And oftentimes I'm promising you guys new series and I can never deliver, and I feel really bad about that. But one new series, I think, and I've thought this through a little bit more, and this is in direct regards to me not being able to do as many videos while I'm back at work, is doing a possible quick tips type video. And the video would only be like 30 seconds to 2 minutes long, depending on exactly what I'm talking about. But they would be tips that I use myself, things that I use myself that I don't often see a lot of other people using, and they could range from infiltrator tips to any class tips. But the point of them is that they'd be very short. I'd be able to upload them very frequently. I don't want to call them filler, but they would basically fill in the days that I can't do bigger videos. So let me know what you guys would think about that. Aside from that, that's pretty much all I have. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.